And I think that might be a good time to examine the rhetoric that we've been using or interrogate it further, because we are using this term genocide that we often dispute when the US government is putting it forward. Joe Biden saying Ukraine is a genocide. The State Department declaring that China is committing genocide in Xinjiang in the West, alleged atrocities against the Uyghur population. We hear them, they use genocide all the time. Samantha Power, the director of USAID, is the queen of the so-called genocide prevention industry. And
she made her career off of it. She made a career off by writing a book pretending to care about genocide. And the moment she's in power to be able to do something about genocide, she's in the process of promoting it. That's basically her career right there.
Yeah. And she's, of course, not resigning her position. Her book that made her famous about the genocide in Rwanda was all about how people in the Clinton administration, like Susan Rice, refused to resign over this genocide and just went along to get along. And that's what she's doing over the Gaza genocide. But is it a genocide? Well, the Israelis are pretty much saying that they aim to commit genocide. They're not really hiding it. I'm looking right now at an op-ed that was published in the Jerusalem Post, and it's by Gila Gamliel, who is the Minister of Intelligence of Israel. The Ministry of Intelligence has published this document calling for forcibly expelling the entire Gaza population and paying Egypt to take them in permanently to ethnically cleanse Gaza. And here's an article by, once I get through an ad, this is pretty frustrating. Well, the Jerusalem Post will just like destroy your hard drive if you even try to visit it. So my hard drive is under extreme attack now for visiting this trashy site. Well, we'll pull it back up. Victory is an opportunity for Israel in the midst of crisis, writes Gila Gamliel, the Minister of Intelligence. One of the issues on which my office has been working diligently is how to proceed the day after Hamas has been defeated and annihilated. So the Gamliel goes on, blah, blah. Stop attacking my hard drive. Blah, blah, blah. People were raped. Everyone was burned alive, the Holocaust, etc., creating the case for what should be done next. And now we get to the real crux of the biscuit, as Frank Zappa put it. Another option is to promote the voluntary resettlement of Palestinians in Gaza. It is important that those who seek a life elsewhere be provided with that opportunity. This is an opportunity for those who say they support the Palestinian people to show these are not just empty words. So they want the UN to pony up billions of dollars to support the ethnic cleansing of Gaza. We've tried disengagement, conflict management, building high walls. These have all failed. We have to try something new and call on the international community to make it a reality. It'll be a win-win situation for the civilians of Gaza who seek a better life, to just leave their homes forever, to be purged forever, and on and on and on. They're saying this quite openly. And meanwhile, here's what took place on Israel's national broadcast station, Khan. A song featuring Israeli children, their version of We Are the World, maybe it could have been called We Arm the World, or We Just Want to Exterminate Gaza, was played. A sort of Israeli genocide anthem sung by Israeli children was featured on the Israeli national broadcaster. And here it is. And the Electronic Intifada is subtitled. Okay, at this point, you think they're lamenting that planes are bombing, destruction, destruction, she's singing. But the Israeli army is crossing the line to annihilate the Nazis. And they like it. It's good. They're singing in celebration of in another year there will be nothing in Gaza, to kill all the children in Gaza. In a year, we will annihilate everyone. Just to stew on that. Israeli children singing, within a year we will annihilate everyone. And then we will return to plow our fields. This is Zionism, folks. The pretty and the pure. I mean, does it get any more Nazi-esque than that? Love sanctified with blood. So that was eventually deleted from the website of Khan, Israel's national broadcaster. But you know, anywhere you look in Israeli TikTok, Israeli media, you're going to see calls for genocide, the celebration of genocide. Here's a news broadcast from Israeli Channel 14 about embedding with the Israeli military in Gaza, and it'll kind of give you the sense of what kind of propaganda Israelis are being infused with each day, and the kind of the mood of the media. You need to put up a welcome to hell sign here, says the correspondent. And they're in the destroyed northern Gaza Strip now, rolling through with tanks. He's very excited to ride in the tank. It's like an amusement park ride, he says, this tank that's destroying. I mean, the buildings behind him, I know personally. I've been in those buildings. They're all destroyed. First impression, Gaza's gone. There's no Gaza. Everything's destroyed. There's no roads, no houses. Not a single house. Everything is ruined. In short, here, the guys did a great job, and we're only just getting started. Okay, so I don't even need to share any more of that, but it's just great job. We're only getting started. Israeli children singing to annihilate everyone. TikTok video after TikTok videos from the Israeli TikTok army in Gaza celebrating genocide with DJs playing inside destroyed homes. And well, here's another. I mean, we have Israeli soldiers firing into Gaza to the sound of rock music, just lobbing shells into Gaza. This is like a typical TikTok. Where are these shells going? I doubt they know. There's a whole lot of targeting going on. So that post, by the way, was classified by Elon Musk's ex as hateful conduct. So you can't actually share that post by Ronnie Barkan, Israeli anti-Zionist activist. But we use this rhetoric of genocide because the Israelis are telling us what they're doing. They're saying they're going to do it.
Yeah. And as you pointed out for a long time, you and others, this is the logical result of Zionism. When you base your country on an ideology that deems you to be supreme, to be exceptional, to be above others, you, by extension, you have to then dehumanize the people you're ruling over. In this case of Israel, the people you've stolen your land from and displaced from their homes. And so it's always going to reach this point where even they can put out children's videos celebrating genocide. It's like it's the logical. This has to happen in this society. There's no sort of middle ground you can have where you have people living on occupied land and the land they've stolen, and feeling some kind of seeing Palestinians as equal. You just can't if you're going to have a supremacist society. So this should not shock people. Israel's certainly gotten way more extreme than it used to across the political spectrum, but it was always going to go in this direction as long as it clung to this fundamental notion that they are superior and that they have this inherent land that they have this inherent right to the land that they've stolen from its indigenous people.
Yeah, they haven't completed the genocide that will allow them to, in their view, live in peace, or as you see in that video. That video of Israeli children singing for the extermination of Gaza is a really good document of the Zionist mentality at this stage, because they're saying we need to exterminate everyone or annihilate everyone in order to plow our fields, in order to continue to live. That's the settler colonial mentality. As long as you're in the settler colonial phase, you first of all don't have a metropole to return to like the French or British colonists who populated India and Algeria. You can't just go back and say, we failed. They don't want us here. We got Mau-Mau'd, like the British did in Kenya. So you have to fight for your existence and eliminate the indigenous population, or you lose and you go away. It's a zero-sum game. It's like the American West in the 1840s or 1850s, where the settler colonial population was carrying out a genocide against the Lakota Sioux and the Arapaho in order to secure the existence of the United States. And once they did so, then they moved forward to a putative liberal democracy and passed the Voting Rights Act of 1964. I don't know if Israel will ever get to that phase. They're just perpetually in genocide mode. And what we're seeing is an attempt by them to finish the game, to finish what was begun in 1948. And this was explicitly expressed by the former head of the Israeli Shin Bet, Avi Dichter, who is now the Minister of Agriculture and a member of Knesset. He said that we are engaged in a new Nakba. The Nakba is the systematic ethnic cleansing of Palestinians in 1948, and we're just trying to finish the job. Actually rolling with Nakba of Gaza.
אבי דיכטר, כשאנחנו רואים את התמונות של מיליון תושבי עזה הולכים עם דגלים לבנים דרומה, זאת אחת ממטרות, זו מטרה פסיכולוגית
של מבצע.
זה תוצר, זה אירוע אסטרטגי, זה זמני.
זה בראש ובראשונה אירוע מבצעי. צריך להבין, יש לנו שם הרבה מאוד לוחמים שלנו, שצריכים לפעול בשטח מאוד מאוד צפוף. לפעול בשטח צפוף, כמו שם. הוא באוכלוסייה, אתה רוצה לצמצם את מספר
התודעה של נקבה, או שזה משהו זמני.
Is this a Nakba or something temporary? We are now rolling with the Nakba of Gaza. So he's pretty open about it. He calls it Nakba 2023. And he's not the only one saying this in the Israeli leadership. They are expressing clearly, unequivocally, their intention to commit genocide. And the United States is saying, whoa, we can't believe that they're doing this. We expected a much more targeted, precise operation.
Wasn't it a law in Israel, or at least a proposed law, maybe it didn't pass, that you were not allowed to acknowledge the Nakba?
Yeah. It was introduced by Yisrael Beitenu, the Russian Israeli party that came out of Likud. It was supported by Likud back in like 2010. It was called the Nakba law. And if you observe the Nakba on the day of Israel's Independence Day, you face criminal penalties. So now,
okay, so yeah, now it's okay to recognize the Nakba so long as you're calling for another one. That's basically the Israeli policy.
Yeah. It's nice of them that they're acknowledging that a Nakba took place in 1948. There was like a huge society-wide debate in Israel. A guy was put on trial actually for documenting the Tantura massacre in 1948. His name is Sami Katz. He was an Israeli historian. He actually went on trial. And now they're just like, yeah, we did it. We're going to do it again. Give us your money, America.
Not too long ago, I think some Israeli veterans of 1948 acknowledged that there is a mass grave under a Tel Aviv beach. Did you see that? That came out not too long ago. And that's the legacy. That's what they're trying to continue now, basically. And they're repeating it. I mean, we've seen the mass graves inside Gaza. At Shifa, I believe they had a mass grave, right? Because they have no place to put the bodies.
Yeah, you can see that in our mini documentary that's up at YouTube. You can see the piles of dead bodies covered in blankets in the courtyard of Al Shifa because there's nowhere to put them. There's no waste disposal. I mean, it's a catastrophe for a medical facility because there's no sanitation, there's no water, there's no fuel, but there's people there who are grievously injured. Where's the American Medical Association on this? Have they said anything? Nope. Where are all the celebrities who cried out, who went to meet with Zelensky?
Yeah. Yeah, they're missing in action.
Where's Sean Penn? I actually, we both just know some celebrities just through whatever, through life. I've actually been lobbying some of them. And they're not responding.
Yeah.
It's like the Pope has called for a ceasefire. The Financial Times has called for a ceasefire. Some members of Congress are starting to step up and call for a ceasefire. There are some prominent civil society leaders calling for a ceasefire, but I can't get any of these celebrities to call for just a ceasefire, to just call for peace. It was so much easier for them to call for war, for a proxy war in Ukraine against Russia, than to actually just call for peace. I wonder why that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are they going to like lose their representation from a creative artists agency run by Ari Emanuel, who's actually leading an initiative of Jewish Zionist billionaires to promote Israel's war? Is that what it could be?
Well, the answer is yes. Yes. I mean, I think you're asking a rhetorical question, but yes, the answer is yes. We saw that one agent at CIA who was demoted after she posted something about a genocide going on in Gaza. I mean, it's every anti-Semitic stereotype is being shown, it's like these people are validating anti-Semitic stereotypes in terms of Jews control everything. Certainly when it comes to Hollywood, Jews in Hollywood, Zionist Jews in Hollywood are doing their best to prove that stereotype. Absolutely.
Yeah. While complaining that they're victims and that, they're like, we are facing the worst anti-Semitism ever. And if you deny this, then we're going to fire you and prevent you from ever getting a job anywhere because we have the power to do so.
Yeah.
At our investment firms and movie studios. And we're going to run a multi-billion-dollar campaign to promote the destruction of Gaza.